At 12 o'clock, we got Texas Tech, who's 4-4, traveling to number 7 TCU, who's 8-0. TCU favored by 9.5 points on Fox. Donovan Smith for Texas Tech. I don't believe he's still the starting QB, but he does have the better of the two stats, so we're going to go with him. It's really hard to predict who's the starting quarterback for Texas Tech, but he's gone 147 and 221, thrown for 1,505 yards, 12 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So Roderick Thompson on the ground is at 89 carries for 435 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Xavier White has had 33 catches for 454 yards and 3 touchdowns. Max Duggan through the air has gone 149 and 221, thrown for 2,212 yards, 22 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Kendre Miller on the ground has had 132 carries for 851 yards and 11 touchdowns. And Quentin Johnson through the air has had 12 catches for 650 yards and 4 touchdowns. Texas Tech, weirdly enough, leads the series all time, 32-29. Last 3 games have gone to TCU, though, ranging from 2019 to 2021. Okay, so I think what's going to be really cool and really kind of interesting about this matchup between the Red Raiders and the Horned Frogs is Texas Tech has shown some ability to almost pull off upsets. I understand that it's not that big of a deal anymore because Oklahoma State was just dominated by the Wildcats and eliminated from playoff contention. But this is a Texas Tech team that controlled that game for the majority of it until the fourth quarter, right? This is not a bad Red Raiders team by any stretch of the imagination. Now, they lost badly last week to Baylor. We'll see if that's really who they are. But I think this is an overall pretty good Texas Tech team. I think this is a Texas Tech team that actually has a chance of pulling off the upset here and giving TCU its first loss, which would just be astronomically bad for a Horned Frogs team that really wants to make the playoffs here. You kind of got to go undefeated just because, like, the way the season's shaking out, they really want to put Tennessee and Georgia both in the playoffs. And Ohio State and Michigan both look really good. And if the only loss for Ohio State is Michigan, and the only Michigan loss is to Ohio State, it's going to be tough to keep both of them out as well. Not to mention, an undefeated Clemson has more pedigree than you, and it's just like you're fighting an uphill battle if you're a Horned Frogs fan trying to make the playoffs. And I think you do deserve to make the playoffs. Like, I feel like if teams don't make their conference championship, teams that win their conference championship should go instead, as long as they're not 2 loss. Like, if we're talking about a 1-loss TCU team that won its conference championship and a 1-loss Tennessee team that didn't even make it, I want a 1-loss TCU team that won its conference championship, because conference championships just mean more, right? Like, you're getting the team's best shot in a conference championship. Tennessee doesn't get that normally in the regular season. Outside of if you're, like, playing Georgia, which, if that happens, you lost to Georgia. So, I think it's going to be interesting here. Just from a college football fan perspective, I actually do think Texas Tech has a chance here. I think they keep it close for the majority of this game, if I'm going to be honest. TCU eked by a win against West Virginia last week. And I'm going to be honest, Texas is going to be their toughest game left on their schedule, right? That's next week against the Longhorns. This could be a little bit of a look away game. Like, I don't know how else to phrase it. Texas Tech is only 4-4, but they're a good 4-4 team. They've lost some close games against some pretty good football teams. So I think this game's pretty close. Give me the Horned Frogs to win, but the Red Raiders to cover here.